Ms. Dancho, you have 5 minutes.
An issue again, it's 3,000 jobs, as you've said, and you've linked the contract, the SIF retooling with Brampton and Windsor to the Nexstar plants. So I need to understand, though, you mentioned there was a production guarantee for the Brampton SIF agreement, but you did not specify an employment guarantee number. So was it 3,000 jobs that SIF agreement with Brampton guaranteed?
So I will provide that information through you because obviously they're commercially sensitive information. So I just need to check.
If I may just interrupt for a moment.
No,
if
I don't want to be interrupted, Mr. Chair. I just want to be able to finish my sentence, please.
Minister, MP Dancho.
If I may.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
When we ask the minister to appear, we want the minister to have an opportunity to have answers. We want members to have an opportunity to have questions. I'm not going to hold the time of her response against your time.
What about this time?
Okay, this time the clock is paused, so you're okay. Minister, I'll let you finish the response. Madame Dancho, I'll ask to let her complete, and then Minister, I'll ask you to let her complete. I'm not going to hold the clock hostage here. So Minister, finish, and then MP Dancho.
Yeah, I think it's important when you look at the different contracts that first and foremost, particularly on the battery front, the contract is 1/3 the government of Ontario and 2/3 the government of Canada. So it's not $15 billion. I know that the MP has referred to $15 billion for the government of Canada.
Because this isn't what I asked you specifically.
But to go specifically on the job numbers, we'll look at what is possible to make public because of commercially sensitive information.
If I may on that specific point,
I just want to finish my answer.
Specific point,
and
please,
therefore
if you'll allow me,
we will
Minister,
be
it is
able
my
to
time,
answer
so I'm
your
just going to
question.
have to respond. So on the commercially sensitive redactions, now on the SIF agreement for Nexstar, the jobs guarantee of 2,500 was not redacted, so it stands to reason that it wouldn't be redacted, wouldn't be commercially sensitive under a different SIF agreement. Surely you can tell us if there was a 3,000 person jobs guarantee for Brampton, and that's not commercially sensitive information. So it is concerning to me that you're not committing that there was a jobs guarantee for the Brampton facility.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So you're saying that there is...
I'm saying that all the plants were linked and all the contracts are linked. So you will be able to see it when we will be producing.
But if there wasn't a jobs guarantee of 3,000 people at Brampton, which is the whole reason you're here, then how is it that you're tying all of the money to a jobs guarantee that may or may not exist? You should be able to tell us if there is a jobs guarantee for the 3,000 jobs in Brampton.
I think you're falling into the trap of trying to find a problem where there's none.
Well, the problem is that 3,000 people were laid off,
the government
and your government committed millions and billions, in fact, of dollars.
Well, MP Dancho, I don't know whether you want this to be a monologue or you want me to appear. Because
the question
if you
I'm
want
asking
this
you
to
is
be a
very
monologue,
clear.
I don't need to be here.
Colleagues, I'm going to pause us again for a moment. I do want to ensure that we've got an opportunity for dialogue. I think that's the ultimate goal here. Minister, if you can give us maybe 30 seconds in your reply, MP Dancho will go back to you, and then I believe you were hoping to split the time with Mr. Seaback, of which there would be about 3 minutes or so left. Minister, if you want to give us about a 30-second answer here.
Yeah, well, ultimately the goal was to create jobs. And so obviously there were job numbers, and obviously it was linked to the fact that we needed to protect the Brampton facility. I was not negotiating at the time, but this is clear through the very evaluation and just the fact that just reading the contracts. When you see that there are contracts that are linked to investing in the Windsor plant that are linked to the Brampton facility, or investing in the Windsor Nexstar LG, basically Stellantis LG, contract linked to the Brampton facility. So clearly it was to protect the jobs. And so that was the position of the government.
If I may, so again, what we're trying to dig down is if your government instituted a clause in one of these 3 agreements that guaranteed the broader Stellantis footprint in Canada, including the 3,000 jobs that were just laid off. You know this. So what I'm trying to drill down is if there was something in the contracts, there isn't one in here. Brampton is even mentioned in the contract for the Nexstar agreement. I understand they can be linked. There is a clause 14.1G that may link it to the Brampton facility. But you're not committing whether there was a clear jobs guarantee there. So your argument is, oh, no, we're covered. We're suing them in clear grounds. But you're not telling us, in fact, if there was 3,000 jobs guaranteed in that SIF agreement. So that's the real question I have, because there is significant commitments, as you know, up to $15 billion in partnership with Ontario. We have also another $1 billion of capital investment as well for the retooling of Brampton and Windsor under the SIF agreement. I'm trying to nail down if there's a jobs requirement for Brampton. A further $500 million in this SIF agreement for the next star. We're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. And from our estimation and the historic investment that your government has made, surely there should be an explicit Canada-wide jobs guarantee. But we're splitting hairs here. You're kind of being quite evasive of the numbers, whether there's a real guarantee. It should be explicit if you're going to give a historic amount of taxpayer funding. In fact, just to wrap up, Mr. Chair, I will just say this. I'm not sure if you understand the magnitude of the money that you've committed, but I did some math. And the number of two-parent, full-time working households that had to work for your government to provide just its contribution to Stellantis is over 647,000 Canadian families had to work an entire year for your government to provide up to $11 billion. And there is no explicit jobs guarantee in anywhere here. So
you're putting words into my mouth, which I don't agree.
Of whether there's a 3,000
and also, you're not
So,
being true
colleagues,
to the
I think
contract.
You're not
because
giving
the
that commitment.
contract is until
happen-
2032. So you're, math doesn't
There isn't
work.
So, Minister-
well, that's
Minister-
how many
Stop doing
taxpayers had to pay
politics. The
to
goal
fund this
right
new
now is to
status
protect
quo.
the workers.
Enough.